elsewhere in Africa. We're going to jump aboard on bus route 48 from Canal Rufisque to Avenue Pétavin in the Senegalese capital, Dakar. That and other bus routes are now available via a new mobile phone app called Sunubus. And yes, of course, you may use a similar mass transit app where you live, but this one isn't the usual case where the local bus companies have opened up their data on like arrivals, departures, routing information, that kind of thing. Instead, the 4 young app developers behind Sunubus in Dakar, well, they had to gather their own data by, well, literally getting on the bus and noting the times and service intervals manually. And then they built a platform where other commuters in the city that's home to a quarter of Senegal's population report back on routes and times. It's all data that's fed into the app to improve information for everyone. Sasha Gankin has been to meet one of the developers and Sunubus community manager, Papa Mornion, who began by saying that this was an issue that really needed sorting.
The problem we have here in Dakar is that people lose a lot of time because of the bus. Sometimes you can wait for 1 hour at the bus stop and your bus still doesn't come. And that's due to a lot of things. First, companies don't necessarily respect their timetables for their schedule. And they also there's also a lot of traffic jam. And all of that combined basically makes it very hard to predict when the bus that you want to take is coming. And there is also a complete lack of information for the end users, for the consumers, about what lines go where. So here in Senegal, if you open Google Maps and you try to use their transit service, you won't find any bus. So from those 2 problems, we identified a need to develop an application that people will use first to get information about what bus they should take to get to a specific destination, but also they would know when their bus would arrive at their specific location so that they could keep on with their businesses until the bus arrives.
What was the idea? When was it initially? What did you stroke you to develop an app? Was there a story behind it?
Yeah, so the story is that we were kind of fed up with waiting for the bus every day because we go to school every day and we're always late because of the bus. So being computer science students, we say that we should think of a solution for this because we are in a digitalized age. And then from there, we just started kind of throwing ideas of what we could do to basically solve this problem.
Technically, how did you proceed to create Sunubus?
So we are a team of 4 people. One of us is a UI UX designer, 2 of us are mobile developers, and 1 is a backend developer. The way we did it, we just say, okay, we have 30 days after the idea. We have 30 days to kind of implement a solution, a kind of an MVP, and put it on the Play Store, on the App Store. And then we just started coding every day.
But also you need all this entire information about the buses.
Yeah, so for the information about the buses, it was kind of hard because the companies, they don't provide you with that information. So we had to do that manually, basically take the bus stops one by one for every single line so that we could constitute our database.
How many lines did you use to collect all this information?
So actually in our database, we have 67 lines, and that's around 2,000 and more bus stops. So it took quite some time.
How long did you take the bus lines to collect this entire information?
Actually, we did not have to take all of them because for some of them we just already knew their transit, so we just mapped it on Google Maps and imported it in our database. But other than that, it took us a month to basically constitute all this database.
So, but the very important part of your app is actually to share the information. So you have this option to share the information, which really revolutionize the idea of taking public transportation in Dakar, which is sharing the information by the passengers and users.
Yeah, so the way it works is basically we want to create a community where everyone helps each other to basically have a little happier route during the day. And the way it works is every passenger in the bus can share his position. It can be the conductor, it can be the driver, it can be any other passenger. And when they do that, they kind of receive points that they can then exchange for various gifts. And on the other hand, we have the users who want to access that position can do it freely. So it's that community that we want to create around the bus so that we can make it much better.
I saw on your app that you have actually this option of gifts. What is it about gifts?
So gifts are just there to motivate people to participate in this information sharing. And it can be everything from credit cards, cash, or even phones. If you really stack up your points, you can even get a phone from us. So that's what we use to basically motivate people to, when they're inside the bus, to share their position so that other people can benefit from it.
So that's Papa Mortnion talking there to Sasha Gankin. That Hawaya Mohammed is still listening, is still with us, listening to that. She's with Afrobytes. What do you make of what you just heard there, Hawaya?
It's very funny because I met Sunubus last week in Paris. So, the world is very small and the transport